For the past 2 years, the conventional wisdom was simple. Silicon Valley owned AI. OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. They had the biggest models, the most data, and the unbeatable proprietary edge. We thought the race was already won. But we were wrong. Within the last week, a mathematical and geopolitical shockwave hit the AI landscape. A new wave of open-weight AI models, led by powerful new entries from China like Moonshot AI's Kimi K3, has completely shattered the performance gap. Today, we break down why the proprietary AI business model is facing an existential threat. The Silicon Valley AI monopoly is officially breaking. Before we get into Kimi K3 and the numbers, we must understand the difference. GPT-4, Claude 3.5 Sonnet, Gemini 1.5 Pro. These are closed models. They are black boxes. You pay a subscription, you interact with their interface, but you have zero visibility into how they work. You can't download them. You can't customize them. You must trust that the company won't change the model's quality or prices. Now, compare this to the open-weight ecosystem. Think of a closed model as a fine dining meal where you pay for the final plate, but the chef keeps the recipe, the ingredients, and the oven completely secret. An open-weight model is different. It's like receiving the exact, meticulously guarded recipe, the precise ratios, and the specific temperatures. You have the pre-trained weights. You have the structural core of the model. While you still need massive computational hardware to run the largest models, you can download them, deploy them on your own servers, and fine-tune them. Your data remains your own. This has been the central conflict of AI development. And last week, the open side got a massive boost. Enter Moonshot AI. Based in China, Moonshot has rapidly established itself as a top-tier contender. Their model, Kimi, has gained fame primarily for its stunningly large context window. We are talking about the ability to process up to 2 million Chinese characters, or approximately 200,000 words in a single query. That's equivalent to analyzing a standard business report, 5 novels, and 10 years of product reviews simultaneously. But last week, they changed the game with Kimi K3, a newly refined open-weight architecture. The results were verified not by promotional press releases, but by independent testing labs and developer benchmarks. Kimi K3 began posting competitive, verified scores against closed-source heavyweights, like Claude 3.5 Sonnet in advanced coding and complex reasoning. The critical element? Kimi K3 is open-weight. You're getting closed-source levels of intelligence that you can download and run on your own infrastructure. This isn't just about parity. It's about accessibility and speed of iteration. Why does this matter? If I can get 95% of GPT-4's performance at 1/10 the cost, with full privacy and local deployment, why would I ever pay a subscription again? This has been a massive debate this week in Silicon Valley. Is the era of proprietary moat building dead? This brings us to our first major debate. I want to hear from you in the comments right now. With powerful open-weight models like Kimi K3 reaching parity with closed models, do you believe Silicon Valley giants' subscription businesses are facing an existential threat, or will they maintain dominance through superior service and ecosystem integration? Are we looking at the commoditization of general intelligence, or will big tech's moats hold? I'm genuinely curious to read your predictions below. Let's pause for a moment to consider the geopolitical implications. Kimi K3's success isn't just about a private company in China. The timing is significant. Over the past 12 months, the U.S. government has aggressively expanded export controls on high-performance compute accelerators, namely NVIDIA H100S and next-gen B100S. The strategy was clear. Restrict the compute supply chain, and Chinese AI labs will fall behind, unable to train truly frontier-class models. Kimi K3 represents a strategic pivot. It's not just a model, it's a proof of concept for training efficiency. Independent reports suggest Moonshot AI achieved these performance numbers while facing severe hardware constraints, suggesting optimization techniques that could redefine AI training efficiency. This is a strategic challenge. China isn't just catching up. They are inventing new routes around hardware scarcity. This leads to a second technical debate: the efficiency versus brute force argument. For 2 years, the OpenAI NVIDIA formula was More H100s plus more pre-training data equals a better model. Scale was king. The rise of models like Kimi K3 challenges that. It forces a fundamental rethink of what makes a model intelligent. Scale isn't the only metric. Kimi K3, based on available documentation, uses a highly optimized variant of the widely adopted mixture of experts, or MOE, architecture. This means it's not activating all its parameters at once. For example, if you ask it a complex coding question, only the relevant sparse coding experts activate, making the inference extremely efficient. Brute force models activate the entire system, requiring immense power. Moonshot AI achievement was not just increasing parameter counts, but optimizing the routing within this MOE structure to squeeze extreme intelligence from less raw pre-training compute. It's intelligence engineering rather than just raw scale. The real winner of last week wasn't just Kimi K3, it was the entire open source ecosystem. For the first time, proprietary models no longer have the performance moat as an excuse. We are seeing the beginning of the commoditization of general intelligence. This is a term we use frequently in analytical tech, but it's critical here. Consider the shift in other technologies. Brute force compute, NVIDIA's chips are rare and expensive. Cloud hosting is expensive. But the model itself, last week proved that 95% of SOTA performance is now open weight. When you can build your own specialized private capability, Silicon Valley's pricing power vanishes. How do OpenAI and Google justify high API fees when a free alternative is nearly identical? This brings up a critical question about the business models. Are we moving toward a future where AI labs no longer monetize the model itself, but monetize the orchestration layer, the deployment tools, and vertical integration? We have arrived at our second critical debate. I want your honest perspective in the comments. Would you prefer to deploy a closed, state-of-the-art proprietary model like GPT-4, accepting the API costs and data privacy trade-offs for immediate ease of use? Or would you invest the technical resources to build your own local, private system based on a powerful open-weight foundation like Kimi K3? Let me know where you stand below. It's the classic convenience versus control trade-off. Let's consider the wider open-source landscape. The significance of last week isn't restricted to China. Kimi K3's arrival forces the hands of every other major player. Previously, Silicon Valley owned the monopoly predicated on performance, distance. Open source was cute, but it wasn't GPT-4. That narrative is now invalidated. Companies are already pivoting. Meta, with Llama, is under pressure to ensure Llama 4 matches these new Chinese open-weight numbers. We are witnessing the democratization of the edge. Powerful intelligence can now run on your private workstation, phone, or local cluster. This commoditization has massive global economic fallout. When intelligence is free, the entire margin structure of Silicon Valley changes. For investors, the question shifts. If models themselves are no longer rare, where does value accrue? Infrastructure and specialized data. Value is no longer in having the base intelligence, it's in what you can build with it. This has massive hardware implications. We are likely to see an acceleration of specialized inference hardware. Everyone from Apple to Google is investing in NPU performance neural processing units to run these advanced open models locally. Cloud communications become less critical. The battle moves to the edge. The bottleneck moves from data center compute scarcity to local NPU efficiency. And geologically, this complicates everything. China's success with optimized training techniques suggests the U.S. strategy of hardware restriction might be backfiring, forcing China to innovate on efficiency far faster than the proprietary labs in the West. Hardware scarcity doesn't kill AI. It forces the engineering solution. Last week showed us that solution. What comes next? In the near term, expect to see the prompt wars replace the parameter wars. When all models are intelligent, winning means best fine-tuning, tooling, and integration. Kimi K3's arrival means Silicon Valley proprietary labs must move faster. Resting on performance advantages is over. Entry phase is true competition. Verticalization phase. Who has the smarter model was the only question. Now, who has best deployment infrastructure for open capable models is the bottleneck. Paradigm shift. China didn't just introduce Kimi K3. They forced the entire global tech economy to redefine what intelligence is worth. If you want more analytical tech deep dives, subscribe. I'm curious to see your top predictions in the comments about what Kimi K3 changes next. Thanks for watching.